Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, before I get into the details of this, I want to make sure you guys please listen to this whole part because there may be some information throughout the video that you guys want to see. As always, anything you see in the video will have links down in the description below as well as timestamps so you guys can skip through to the parts that are pertinent to you. Obviously today we received World Update 3, so the UK and Ireland received some really gorgeous updates. We're going to be showing footage of that. Make sure that you guys grab that from the marketplace if that's an area that you enjoy flying. We're going to be talking about different mods and add-ons that have either received some updates or most of them are actually new add-ons that I just recently discovered. They've been out for a while, but I finally got around to testing some of them and seeing what the performance changes was. Speaking of performance, I'm also going to be talking about some performance changes I noticed with the simulator today. Not so much in monitor view, but this is going to be more related to VR users. Just some things that I've picked up on. That's not to say it's going to affect everyone, but I want you guys to be aware of it just in case you're one who's discovering those as well. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video and see what's going on. All right, so World Update 3. This is absolutely stunning. I mean, coming from the desert where I'm from anyway, we have some gorgeous spots, don't get me wrong, and I love the desert. The weather's always really nice out here. I mean, it really is. Even during the hot times, it's not as bad as it could be. But, man, you guys in Europe in general just have it made. This is stunning. The landmarks are absolutely fantastic. The quality of the terrain and the new scenery is just beyond words, just stunning. I absolutely had a great time. All three aircraft that you're seeing here, I actually flew these in VR and then used my replay software to play them back. And in VR, these were amazing. It was absolutely breathtaking. So make sure that you guys give that a download. Again, make sure you go to the marketplace, select World Up 3 and download. All right, so next I've got 3 different aircraft. Again, links are down in the description below. And there are performance modifications for all 3 of these aircraft created by the same guy. Again, check out the links. You guys can find the description of what's actually entailed in these modifications. But I have flown all 3 aircraft that you're going to see here. And there's definitely a big difference. The flare rate is a lot easier on the landings. The takeoffs feel much better. Just the overall feel, quote unquote, of the aircraft is much improved. The one I'm excited about is this one here is the TBM 930. I'm going to be putting this one really through its paces. I will say the climb out was extremely better than what I've seen previously. It seems to have a much more powerful climb out. You're accelerating during the climb, where I was struggling before to hold about 130 knots. This thing, if you let it, it'll climb much faster than that. So make sure you guys check those out. Links in the description. All right, so continuing on with the performance, now we're going to talk about flight physics. This is a really awesome application that allows you to install flight physics modifications either by a single aircraft or as the entire package with the installation button on the left. This will change the way the aircrafts feel on the ground while taxiing, braking, the landings, the touchdowns, etc. Make sure you guys check this out. I think you're really going to enjoy that. I definitely think there's a major improvement. So again, link in the description. All right, and the last of the add-ons today, guys, I want to talk about is airport scenery, specifically the ground textures. This is called airport ground textures or ground graphics enhancements. Link down in the description. Now, it is €13.99, but I find it to be more than worth it. It really increases the fidelity of the airports down on the ground. Everything from the taxi line, the runway lines, runways show a little bit more abuse and usage. The markings down on the taxiways themselves, much clearer, much prettier. And then same thing with the gates. So again, check that out. Link in the description. Moving on to our next section, we have the fly-by-wire A320X changes. Aside from multiple performance changes, the EFB is starting to be worked on, MCDU changes, SimBrief integration. Now, on top of everything else, the cockpit textures have been updated. There's far more detail to them now. The screens now have better reflection on them. The lettering on all of the instruments is much more clear, no more fuzziness. The overhead panel looks great. The throttles now have that nice gloss look with the matte black on the trim wheel. They've really added a ton of detail. Look at the flap levers, the trim or the speed brake levers. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. On top of that, the radio stack now works where you have the independent channels. So it's really come a long way. So make sure that you guys are updating your fly-by-wire A320X. I recommend the latest development version. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is some of the performance changes that I noticed today when sort of going through my testing that I typically do. First off, as far as overall performance, something I just want to make sure that you guys are doing that I noticed made a big difference for me was if you are someone who has a strong internet connection, by that I would say 100 to 150 megs or more stable download, make sure you guys disable rolling cache. It made a huge difference with the stuttering. And again, you go to data and then find rolling cache and turn it off. It really drastically improved my frame rate and improved the stuttering and lagging and weird shimmering that it was doing for a while. The next thing that I want to talk about is after today's update, VR seems to be having a weird issue, and I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing this, but I figured I'd share it with you guys. When switching into VR mode, the screen goes black for quite a few seconds, and I don't remember it doing that before. But then more importantly, when I would switch out of VR and return to the monitor mode, I would find myself anywhere from 10 to 15 frames per second, and even closing out the VR application didn't resolve it. Even going to the main menu didn't resolve it. I actually had to terminate Microsoft Flight Simulator after each time. Otherwise, everything you try to do in Microsoft Flight Simulator would just drag and operate very, very slowly. So I just wanted to make sure that I brought that caution to you guys. If that's something that you're experiencing, I wouldn't pull your hair out. It sounds like that there's an issue with the VR performance itself.